the last days, I find myself also beginning to just look back on the year that has passed. Surfing the internet, I learned that the earliest calendar known to exist dates back to about 10,000 years ago. And I thought for sure it would be found in China or India or Egypt because all of those cultures are about 5,000 years old. The pyramids, the Great Wall. But this oldest existing calendar was found in Scotland. The time period of this ancient calendar, 10,000 years ago, coincides perfectly with the time that human beings were moving from living in nomadic tribes to living in settled communities. It was a time that human beings began domesticating animals and planting crops. To societies based on agriculture, the measuring of time became really important. Why? Because it was essential. It was essential to know when to plant the crops in order to have a successful harvest. Planting too early or planting too late might be the difference between feast or famine. So because of this need to know the best time to prepare the soil and to plant the seeds, the concept of having a calendar year was created by humanity to give a sense of order and mark the passing of time. The word year actually traces its root to an extinct Indo-European Gothic language. The Gothic word year, spelled J-E-R, means season. So the new year marked the beginning of a new cycle of seasons to plant, to cultivate, and to harvest the life-sustaining crops. We rarely give thought to how or why humankind began to mark the beginnings and the endings of things. But now, as I mentioned earlier, with the coming of every December, we mark the ending of another calendar year. All the calendars that have ever existed are human creations trying to mark the passing of time that is infinite. And from the perspective of infinite time, we might say that there is no beginning and there is no ending. But within our Buddhist tradition, we are encouraged to see that each moment is a new beginning, slipping immediately into the past. And each moment is also an ending. Most times we give little thought that each moment is a beginning and each moment is an ending. But every now and then, something happens to make us realize that this is true. With the birth of a new baby into our families, we mark that day and that moment as a new beginning. And each time we have to know the loss of someone we truly love, we quietly mark that day, that moment, as an ending. But the Dharma reminds us that we are interconnected with all events, all things, all people in the karmic fabric of time and space. Think about it. Where does a mother or father's life and love end and their child's begin? Where does a parent's life end and their child's begin? I think always we are interconnected. And I know that I will never forget the moment that I received the call that I had lost my dad. And I will never forget that early morning, that moment when my mom took her last breath. Yet our lives are never separate. Although physically gone, my life is forever interwoven with my mom and dad in the karmic oneness of life. Not long after my mom died in April of 2005, I remember a friend said to me, "It hasn't been an easy year, has it?" But my response was, I found that the older I get, there are no easy years. And I added, I think the last easy year I can remember was maybe when I was about 10 or 11 years old. Our laughter of agreement that followed was all actually something that we both felt, yeah, that's true. Life every year, older we get, is there are no easy years. And then there was a thoughtful silence, a silence during which I think we were both trying to reach back into our memories and see if we could remember just one moment of that simple innocence. As December comes to a close, New Year's becomes a naturally reflective time. It is a moment that we quietly look back on the year that we have lived through. We reflect on the many changes we've lived through. We reflect on the many endings and new beginnings, the many new meetings and also difficult partings. But we know that deep within even our most difficult of partings, there remains at the very heart of our sadness a feeling of endless gratitude. When we sense that deep, deep gratitude for the love and life that we've been able to share with the people whose lives have given meaning to our own, then we begin to understand the heart of the expression Namo Amida Butsu. As I've often said, Nembutsu is that level of gratitude where the words thank you are never enough. With the Dharma as our guide, every year also becomes a year of growth. Knowing that every moment is a beginning and an ending, the Dharma encourages us to live our lives to appreciating every day and every opportunity to be with those we love. To live with Dharma eyes open is to live aware that each day, each moment is filled with beginnings and endings. To live with our Dharma eyes open is to live a life of Nembutsu. This winter holiday season, from Thanksgiving to Christmas and into then the New Year, it is a very, very special family time of year. Again and again we come together with family, and in just being together, we strengthen the bonds of family and friendship. It is a time of giving and sharing and loving, a time of remembering and appreciating the people whose lives give meaning to our own. In 25 days, we will celebrate the beginning of a new year. We will begin a new cycle of seasons. So let us all try to enjoy this holiday family time of year with our Dharma eyes open, appreciating each day and appreciating every opportunity to be with those we love. With this December message, I'd like to thank all of you for coming out this kind of chilly, foggy Sunday, December morning. In closing, please join me in Gassho. The winter holiday season is a very special family time of year. Throughout this season, let us try to remember again to live with the gratitude of Onembutsu. It is to live with that level of gratitude so deep, the words thank you would never be enough. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Amanda.